say, well, I don't want to take a lot of the customer's time, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Folks, if they're not willing to give you what you need to actually help them, don't waste your time. Your time is critically important. So there's 3 conversations, and this is on the YouTube channel. I'll pull this up, that I would recommend you do your own version of this. I'm going to pull it up here. It's called a solar discovery call. It could be a conversation. It doesn't have to be a call. There's 3 things that we have to look at to determine whether we should even build a proposal. Because again, there's 130 million homes, 90 million are eligible. That's 40 million who aren't. So if I'm talking to you as a customer, I don't want to waste your time if your home isn't eligible for solar. So those 3 things are going to be, I need to see what your current energy consumption is. And I need to look at what it is for an entire year, because we're going to build a system to replace as much or all of the energy that you're currently renting from the monopolized utility with energy that you own. So by getting that information, that's going to determine the size of your system. If I just have 1 month or I just have an estimate, I can't really serve you well. The second thing is I look at the cost of the energy, and that's going to determine what the savings will be over the life of that system. So it's very important that I have those 2 things. The third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at your roof. I'm going to determine where the best place is to put those panels so that we can get the maximum solar production. I'm going to look for shading. I'm going to look for issues that would disqualify your roof. I can do the third thing right now just by having your address and putting it into our software. But the other 2 things, I need your help. I need a copy of a current electric bill. And if it doesn't have a grid on that electric bill, then I need to get on with you and the utility to get your entire annual consumption, so we know how much you used. Then we can have a conversation about what can we produce. And that's by looking at the roof. Then the other is the financing, to know whether this is something that is even going to make sense for you economically. By knowing how much you pay for energy, I'm going to be able to help you determine that. I work for you. I don't work for a solar company. I don't work for a loan company. I work for you. And if you'll work with me, I'll make sure that I give you the best possible experience going solar. And it's just those 3 things are what's going to build the foundation. Then what I encourage is get into conversations, right? Become a trusted advisor, not a sales rep, and get into the dialogue. This is not sales pitchy. Is this the first time that you've looked into solar? Talk about it. That first conversation I open up with somebody is the first time. If it's the first time, why'd you wait? What's held you back? If it's not their first time, I'll say, what has the experience been like? Talk to me about what it's been like. What did companies tell you? Because folks, I can tell you, companies out there don't do what we do with education. They go in and just pitch numbers. We focus on education. Why are you interested in going solar? If someone's sole reason of going solar is cost, to save money, then we got to dive in a little bit and see if that's even possible. That particular example, 15 cents, good. They're above grid parity, which means we can probably produce energy at a lower cost than they're currently renting. So that's a good thing. If let's say that customer was only paying 11 cents, it's going to be a tougher battle to fight, because we got to have a perfect self-facing roof to be able to come in at that rate if we're financing. If they're paying cash, then we can drop that cost of energy down significantly. So that's why you get into this dialogue. If you do see the graph on their bill and you're seeing certain spikes that are taking place in given months, ask the questions. What was it that changed that month? What type of heating do you have? What type of air conditioning? How old is your air conditioning? Have you done anything about home efficiency, as Ross was just saying? Talk about those windows. How old are your windows? Those are really valuable tools to have a conversation with a homeowner to know how you can help them. Are you going to get an electric vehicle? You consider doing that, because we need to design the system differently if they're getting an electric vehicle within the next 6 months. Then you get into it. Now, you're looking to pay cash. I know we haven't talked about price yet, but are you looking to pay cash? Or are you looking for us to do the zero down financing program that we make available for you? Well, I don't know. It depends how much it costs. Well, let's just say, because you have a ballpark now, if you have this other data collected, let's just say the system were to cost you out of pocket $40,000 to $60,000. If that were the case, I don't know what yours is going to cost yet because I haven't got your data, but if that were the case, is that something you would be able to pay cash for or move lower performing assets around to pay cash, because the cost of energy is a lot lower if they're paying cash. When you include financing fees and dealer fees and things that make that go up, it's significant, probably 30 to 40% different. So I'm trying to figure that out now. So before I get to the point where I present the numbers, I know what I should present. If it's a cash deal, this is a no-brainer, no matter what they're paying, because cash is going to be much less expensive for a solar system than financed is. If they say, well, probably financing, then qualify that. Great. Our lenders require a credit score of 650 or better. And between 650 and 700, they actually look at your debt to income ratio. And I don't know all the details on how they do that. But anything over 700, they approve you without any consideration of what your debt is. Do you think you're going to be under 700 or below 700? I'll wait for that. Okay, great. Over 700? Great. Proceed. Well, probably under 700. Under 700? Okay. Do you think it would be below 650 or somewhere in between? You want to find out. You want to know if we're going to need to factor in someone else to be able to be involved in the decision to co-sign. Because we can get co-signers on the loans with better credit than the homeowner, and they don't even have to be on the title, but they have to be educated. So you want them there for the presentation, because they're going to be putting their name on a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 loan. You don't want them just assign themselves on a loan without having education. So really important to frame everything up without getting into asking exactly what the credit score is. Folks, a year ago, we were required to get last four of a social security number and a date of birth before we could even build a proposal. We don't have to do that anymore, but we do need to make sure we spend the time qualifying the customer properly, getting an electric bill, getting the true usage, and getting answers to these questions to see if this is even a viable prospect for us. There's no reason for you to set yourself up for failure if you can set yourself up for success. And these types of things are what's going to help you do that and help you meet the ratios. Because as a consultant, let me stop share again. As a consultant, you should be seeing at least a 30% ratio of a proposal to a contract, at least 30%. As a mentor, the minimum margin is 20%. So if you become a mentor in the company, you don't want to be accepting leads that are going to be junk, because that's going to impact your ratios. That's one of the things that I have personally witnessed, because people say, oh, I want to get some training while I'm doing it. But then your stats are all screwed up. So it's very important that moving forward, you do the right things, set yourself up for success. Those are questions that you can use to be able to leverage that. And then the ratios are just going to naturally fall in line. Okay. All right. So I kind of got in the pulpit there a little bit.